Kyle Clark joins us now. Kyle, all eyes are on Colorado's Democratic primary for governor, and I know you've been tracking it and interviewing all the candidates.
Yep, talked to him again just today. So this is the first open field in the Democratic primary for governor since 2018, most competitive Democratic primaries in Colorado overall since 2010. Senator Michael Bennet and Attorney General Phil Weiser agree on a whole lot, including that Colorado should try to redraw its congressional map to favor Democrats. That's what Dems are doing to counteract Republican efforts in red states. This morning, the state Supreme Court unanimously ruled against it. Shortly after, I spoke with both Bennet and Weiser. Both had yet to read the ruling themselves, but said that Democrats should look for a way to continue to do the redistricting.
I do think there could be ways we can still move forward. The principle here, as we talked about earlier, is when you have this unfair effort across this nation, all these Republican states, to do mid-cycle redistricting, if Colorado does nothing, we are basically complicit in giving those pushing this effort an unfair advantage. I believe we have to be willing to do our part to do mid-cycle redistricting here. If there's no legal path, there's no legal path, but I need to read the opinion to know if there is.
I think it's really unfortunate they struck it down. I think we can't allow Donald Trump just to run roughshod over the rest of the country. I think it's important to us to be able to fight fire with fire. So we'll have to keep pushing. We'll have to keep fighting. We got to make sure that he doesn't dismantle the Constitution in the name of his own political interest.
You heard first there from Phil Weiser, and then you heard from Michael Bennet. And this, of course, is an interesting issue because a litmus test for Democratic primary voters these days is how candidates will stand up to Donald Trump and effectively oppose him. A.G. Weiser has tried to make an issue of the fact that Senator Bennet has voted for a good number of Trump's cabinet nominees. Bennet has been on this program with me talking about the fact that he thinks that strategically voting for some Trump picks helps him build relationships that can pay off for Colorado, like with the agriculture secretary getting firefighting resources into this state. Both men are trying to make their closing arguments to voters. And at 6 o'clock on Next, I'll walk them through three scenarios that I hear from Democratic primary voters and ask them to speak to each one of them. And it's interesting. It tells you kind of the state of this race and overall Democratic politics in Colorado, that what I hear from Democratic primary voters who have yet to vote are, for the progressive left, neither of these guys are real staunch progressives. Do they have like a bold progressive vision for the state? Then there's the issue of, are they just going to be a continuation of the Polis administration, which a lot of Democrats have soured on? And both of these guys are very friendly with Polis, and they've taken pains to say, here's how it would be different. And then the third one is, there are a lot of Democratic primary voters who have voted for both these guys in the past, don't dislike either of them. They both obviously have experience, and I hear from a lot of Democratic primary voters, yeah, they both be fine. Right? They both be fine, but then you got to pick one, right? You know, and so we're going to get into that 6.
Are you concerned, you know, when we see all the different ads, are you concerned that they are aligning themselves with, I'm going to fight Trump, and not instead speaking directly to the Colorado constituent, saying, this is what I can do for you as a Coloradan?
I don't know. I wouldn't say concern, not like Susan Collins' concern, but I would say it's interesting to watch the fact that they both need to strike this, I can oppose Trump and this, right? So both of them will say it is not sufficient to just be anti-Trump, but they believe you must have a Trump plan and then other things on top of that, right? Because whoever is elected, if the Constitution holds, Donald Trump is going to be out of office and they're still going to be in office. So what's the plan at that point?
And just quickly on the redistricting, which is the state Supreme Court spoke on today.
Yeah.
Were they standing up, do you think, to show that they were fighting the president, or would it really make a difference here in Colorado, say like it did in Texas, or California?
I mean, there's only so much juice you can get out of the orange here, right? Because we've got 8 seats. Right now it's 4 Republicans, 4 Democrats. And Phil Weiser was out in front of Michael Bennet on this. Weiser was the first prominent Democrat to say that he supported redistricting. He came on Next to say that a couple of months ago. And I pushed him on like, so what are you talking about? Are you talking about, you know, like 5-3 or 6-2 or 7-1? What does that look like? And he didn't want to say one way or the other, but he did push back on the idea that we should just do an 8-0 map, just like make it a complete Dem map or whatever. The thought is that Dems would be pushing for 7-1, make Lauren Boebert's district, which is the reddest district, even more Republican. She'd become like the Queen of Magaland, you know, and then there'd be 7 Democrats. But at this point, the state Supreme Court says not the way you're drawing it up.
All right. Kyle, thanks so much.
Yep.